Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I hope you're having a fantastic day. In today's episode of the things you may have missed in Elden Ring, we'll be searching through REDMANE Castle. We'll be gathering a few new cookbooks, a few new weapons, a Whetblade to allow you to apply the fire and flame art affinity to your weapons, along with a few other very juicy items and bosses. So let's start our approach to the castle, and I'll talk you through the few different scenarios that you may face, depending on which quest lines you've been progressing, and how far into the game you are when you get to REDMANE Castle. As you're traversing this bridge leading towards the castle, you'll see a couple of portals, one at the start and one at the end. We're not going to be using them to make sure that we're exploring the castle in a logical order and we don't miss anything. So head to the other end of the bridge, and at this point, if you haven't been progressing Blythe's questline, you may find that there's a load of knights and some trebuchets firing at you on the bridge. However, if you've already progressed Blythe's questline to the point where he says he'll meet you at the Tournament of Champions in REDMANE Castle, he would have already gone through the castle and be waiting for you at the entrance to the tournament. There's two different theories I've heard as to why that means the guards aren't here, and maybe someone in the comments can clarify for me. Firstly, I've heard Blythe has gone through and killed all of the guards on his way to reach the tournament. However, once we finish the tournament, all the guards are back again, so I don't believe that's the reason. I believe the reason is just because the tournament is ready to start, all the guards have been called back to the keep and are preparing for the tournament itself. So with that explanation out the way, that means we are free to just loot this whole area without being interrupted by loads of enemies. Around the back of the tower here, you can grab yourself a smithing stone rank 3, then run all the way up the cliff here, and jump on top of the tower we were just at the bottom of, and as you progress down these ladders you can get a smithing stone 6. Then head back up again, and you can now jump off onto this ledge. Make your way up the cliffs around the side of the castle, dealing with the bats as you go, and then as you approach the rear, make sure you jump over this ledge here, don't just plummet to your death like I did. In the courtyard at the back is a scarab we can deal with that'll give you the flaming strike ash of war. Then you can deal with the bats so you can grab the little bit of loot that's round here. Currently these stairs only take us to a locked door, so head up this ladder instead. It was so bizarre for me at this point, running through this castle after having progressed the quest lines properly and having practically no enemies to fight here, aside from the occasional dog. So head down the ladder, come into the room here and you can grab the Armourer's Cookbook 5. There's also a Smithing Stone 5 and a couple of enemies to kill, and then you'll unlock the door at the top of the stairs out into the back area that we were just in a minute ago. Now that we've grabbed the bits of loot around the edge and we're actually into the castle itself, we'll get into the next tip. Now that we're inside, we've grabbed that cookbook and opened the shortcut, head into this room here in front of you, and deal with this guy shooting the explosive crossbow bolts at you. Once he's dead, because all of the doors are closed due to the tournament starting, we actually can't open it and we can't get out into the courtyard. So head back up again, climb back up the ladder, then come to the edge of the ramparts here and jump on these sandbags and you can hop over this wall. Honestly, it's so bizarre seeing this whole area so deserted. It's just weird. So because pretty much everything is inaccessible at the moment, we're going to run past all these unmanned defences and then head right into this room here with a Sight of Grace. Once you've discovered that and rested if you need to, come through into this next room. If you interact with this Finger Maiden, she will bow at you and you'll unlock the gesture Polite Bow. Once you've grabbed the gesture, go and speak to Alex and Blythe. Then once you've exhausted their dialogue, there's just one last thing for us to do before we begin the tournament. Head back out the way we came and turn right. Up these stairs you can grab a Smithing Stone 4 from here. Then if you head back down and continue northwest just ever so slightly, you'll see two of the giant lions below you. Don't feel bad cheesing the fuck out of them, and they'll both reward you as usual with a Somber Smithing Stone 4, Beast Blood and some Old Fangs. At this point you can drop down to where you just killed the lions and search around. As I say, you can't go in any of the doors yet, but you can find yourself a Smithing Stone 4 and a Golden Rune 6. The reason we did this before facing the boss and putting the area back to normal is because it's a lot easier to deal with them before all the enemies respawn. So now that you've done that, we'll head on to the main boss of the area and then we'll go around and gather up all of the inaccessible loot. It is now time to face Radahn. Head up the stairs and talk to Jerren. You'll receive a gesture from talking to him, and then once you've exhausted his dialogue, Head straight forwards here, and at the end of the church, you can grab yourself a smithing stone 6. Then come outside and head down the lift. And on the beach, this portal will take you over to General Radahn. Super quick question for you all here as well. Does anyone know how the fuck people manage to get their messages floating on the water here? What am I missing? What is this? What the fuck is this? Genuinely baffles me. If anyone can tell me how this happens, I would be very grateful. Now that we've finished looking at the weird floaty water messages, this is such a unique boss fight. I'm going to skip past almost all of it because I really want you to be able to experience this for yourself. So skip forward past the next 15-20 seconds if you don't want to know anything about it. But for anyone that may need a little tiny bit of help, the gimmick for this one is you can just keep resummoning loads of different NPC summons. And every time one of them dies, their summon sign will pop up again, and you can just keep summoning them to help you out. That is the intended way to do this fight. He's deliberately really, really strong. Yes, people that are crazy good at this game or that have got overpowered builds are going to be able to solo him, but there's no shame in using the summons here. The boss fight is built around it, and they are there to help you out. Also, a little side note, I love that you can summon Patches, and as soon as you do, he basically tells you to fuck off and just teleports himself back to his own world again, the prick. And then once you've beaten Radahn, you'll get his great rune and the Remembrance of the Star Scourge. That's the boss fight done. You can watch this awesome cutscene and then go and speak to both Blythe and Alexander to progress their quest lines. And then the last thing I'm going to show you before we exit this boss arena, you can head all the way to the end of the north coast here, and you'll actually see a door into a cave, the War Dead Catacombs. Chances are you're not going to be powerful enough to actually go through this area yet. It's a crazy high level late game area. The enemies in here, especially the boss, are so stupidly strong. But the main reason I wanted to show you this is it's a really decent mid game area to AFK farm runes. So once you've rested at the site of grace and run down here to initiate all of these fights, all you then need to do is go partially back upstairs and stand there while they all kill each other. It's definitely not a particularly quick rune farm, but if you just need to go AFK for 10 minutes to make a cup of coffee or go and answer the door or whatever, you can literally just sit here letting these guys kill each other and just get some free runes. If you're struggling and just need an extra couple of levels. Absolutely awesome. So I thought I'd just call this out, and we'll come back and revisit this cave in a later video. So now that that's done, all of the doors will be open in REDMANE Castle. Before you head back into the main area of the castle, if you want, come back into the room here just where we were before Radahn's boss fight, and you can run all the way to the end and you'll see Jerren sat down on a chair. If you exhaust his dialogue, it will then progress his questline for slightly later in the game, and also the room you were just in, when you teleport back, will now have become a boss room. And this will be another duo boss fight with a misbegotten warrior at the start of the fight, and then as soon as he gets on 50% health, a crucible knight will spawn as well. So as soon as that misbegotten warrior is on 50%, you want to wail on him and get his health down as quickly as possible so that it just becomes a one-on-one again. This fight rewards you with the Ruin's Greatsword and about 20,000 runes. And it's not required, you can come back here and do it at any time, so if you are struggling with it, leave it for now, level up a bit, and we can come back here and beat up these guys later. Once they're dead, there's one more item for me to call out near where Jerren was. You can grab this before that boss fight, I just completely forgot it was here. Drop down here, and where all these chairs are, you'll find a corpse with a Somber Smithing Stone 5. Now let's wrap up the main area of the castle itself and get all of the juicy loot. Once you head back into the courtyard again, turn right and you'll be on the ledge above where I cheesed the lions earlier. You'll see there's now an Abductor Virgin enemy. Once you've dealt with her, you can run through the northwest door here and grab the red hot Whetblade. That's the one I mentioned earlier that lets you apply the fire and flame art affinities to your weapons. Then keep heading over these ramparts, and once you've dealt with all the knights, you'll eventually come to a chest with a Smithing Stone 6 in it. There's nothing else in this area of the castle, so run back down to the main courtyard where we fought the two lions earlier in the video. And you can come through this door here, and behind this giant barrel you'll find the Armourer's Cookbook 4. And just in case you were interested, the Armorer's Cookbook 6 that we found earlier lets you craft preserving boluses, and the 4 that we just picked up allows you to craft the Redmane Firepot, which, especially for strength builds, deals a significant amount of damage. This is a really solid ranged weapon for someone who's going full strength, full melee. Now come out of this building and head into the room opposite. In here we'll take out the page that we took out earlier, and then up the top of this room will be the dog as well. And for the last few bits of loot in this area, I got myself a bit lost here and ended up taking a really confusing route to this door. So as I'm leaving in my route here so you can see where I've gone, I'll talk you through a much easier way to do it. So teleport yourself back to the Redmane Castle site of Grace, head out of the room behind you back into the courtyard we're currently in. Just go straight through the few defences here, then make a left, and you'll be at this door that I am at now. Once you're in here, you can head up the ladder and deal with the Mad Pumpkinhead. Once he's dead, you can loot the corpse behind him for the Flamberge. Flamberge. Then you can go and grab a Smithing Stone 3 from this corpse here. Head all the way up the ladder for a Smithing Stone 5. And we're done. That's it. Congratulations! What an awesome area. Love this castle. As always, if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing, like the video, leave a comment. Anything that's going to help us grow in the eyes of the algorithm. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.